James Turner for the untouchable true school sports. Let's go, baby. Bow!
Be careful what you wish for because it can become a reality.
Yeah. The untouchable True School Sports Empire proudly presents something the boxing game's missing. Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. All right, so the next fighter I wanted to talk about in these IBF featherweight rankings is none other than probably one of the youngest fighters in the featherweight division, and that's Jonathan Lopez. 16-0, 12 KOs, southpaw. Really interesting fighter because despite the fact that he's so young, I think there's some substance on his resume. So let's talk about that. At his age of 21 years old, he already has a win over Eduardo Baez, and he actually dropped Eduardo Baez, you know? And I know all about Eduardo Baez. He's been there with Navarrete, he's been in there with Angelo Leo, and he's not an easy out for anybody. And so the fact that he dropped him and beat him this early in his career, that lets me know that he's a big talent to really look at, you know? So there's that. As far as his gym experience, okay, he sparred with Naya Inoue, as it seems like everyone around these weights has, you know, with the exception of a couple people. Like Inoue is kind of like Vladimir Klitschko. Like a lot of the top heavyweights that are now, you know, currently active, like Hergovich and Wilder and all these guys, Anthony Joshua. A lot of these guys run Klitschko's camp, and it kind of feels that way. Like with Inoue, a lot of the guys that are sparring him are ranked and are ascending in the weight class right now. So he's one of those guys. He's trained by Eddie Reynoso, which is really interesting because. And he signed to Eddie Reynoso, so he's not just training with him. He signed to Eddie Reynoso and Canelo and all that stuff. And what makes that whole setup interesting is that Jonathan Lopez is of Puerto Rican descent. You know, he was born in Pennsylvania, but he's a Puerto Rican descent. So he's a Puerto Rican fighter pretty much with Eddie Reynoso, which I think if he's able to continue doing what he's doing, the marketability he will have with having, you know, Team Canelo behind him and then being Puerto Rican and then being an exciting fighter, I think his marketability is limitless, right? So that there's that. As far as his style, you know, I would classify Jonathan Lopez as an aggressive southpaw power puncher. He's an aggressive southpaw power puncher. He's got this thing about him where he can pivot pretty well. His last fight on ESPN, he fought on the Tevin Farmer Raymond Murataya card, and he knocked the guy out the ring. He was caught in the corner. He pivoted around the opponent he was fighting, and then he knocked him out the ring. You know, so he got some ring craft to him. As far as his amateur exploits, you know, he's got some pretty big wins in the amateurs over the likes of South Florida's very own Xander Zayas, as well as the Olympic bronze medalist now from this past Olympics, Omari Jones, and also now Abdullah Mason. So Zayas, Omari Jones, Abdullah Mason, those are all good guys to have wins against in the amateurs. And he's only gotten this far in his career because he turned pro at a very, very young age. And that was the age of 17 years old. So that's Jonathan Lopez, a guy that I feel is a dynamic talent. Someone that, I'll be honest with you, he's a big kid for 126. I don't know how much longer he'll have at 126. I would probably more than likely anticipate a move to 130 because I can look at his body and his frame and the way God made him, and the way, from what I see, it don't look like a guy that's going to be at featherweight much longer. But I do also know that he was in South Florida recently, and he sparred my good friend Luis Hernandez, who's turning pro soon. And I heard good things about Jonathan Lopez from Luis. I heard that he's a hell of a fighter and a very, very, you know, just smart, intelligent guy that makes you think in there. So, you know, my reports I got from him were good there. And yeah, whether it's a 126 or 130, this is someone that I think will be a factor in boxing just because of his talent and how he fights. It's an exciting style and who he has behind him. And honestly, I'll tell it like this: if he can't make 126 any longer, then I would welcome a move to 130, because 130 is a weight class that I just really and truthfully feel is devoid of talent. You know, there's not a lot of talent at 130. 130 to me is actually one of the weaker weight classes in boxing right now, and I think someone like him would really spice it up a little bit and add a name where, you know, we can get someone that's a dynamic young talent, and he's still got a lot of boxing in front of him. You know, there's obviously some things he's got to correct like any other fighter, but to have a win like Eduardo Baez on your record, and I can't stress that enough, because like I was sitting 10 feet from the ring when Angelo fought Baez, and I know how tough that guy is. to fight him and beat him. And Jonathan Lopez might have not even have been 21 when they fought. He might have been 20, and he has a win over him already. So that tells you everything you need to know. Eddie Reynoso signing him tells you everything you need to know. His amateur win tell you everything you need to know. And just when you watch him on the bag, you know, he's got heavy hands, good snap on his punches, seems to know how to pivot. He's not just a power puncher, but that's obviously something that's a big plus for him, is his power coming out of that southpaw stance. So that's my impression on Jonathan Lopez, someone that I think will be a factor, whether it be at 126 or 130. But if you don't know who he is, hopefully now you know a little bit more about him. And if you got anything to add, because I still want to learn more about him myself, feel free to let me know in the comments down below. You know, make sure you guys take the time to subscribe. And like I say in every single one of these videos, you can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just a kid from Daniel. So until next time, take care, guys. Thank you for watching another video on the untouchable True School Sports Empire. I'm at the Boxing Hall of Fame out here in Canada, New York. And for more great boxing content just like this video, make sure you click and subscribe right over here.